I want to start this morning with a incident from a long time ago. Before I became a minister, I got out of the University of Florida, and I went to Chicago. I graduated in advertising and in public relations, so I went to be an ad guy with a firm in Chicago where most advertising is written. I know a lot of it's filmed in LA and New York, but 99% of advertising is written in Chicago, believe it or not. And while I was up there, I started with this company, and they gave us an indoctrination speech. And they said, your job as a writer, and I was a writer at the time, your job as a writer is to get people to realize that they should be afraid. And I said, afraid of what? Afraid of missing out. They used to call it F.O.M.O. Remember, when you write for an ad, F.O.M.O. When you write for Johnny, tell him, Johnny, oh, you're missing out. David, oh, everybody's having fun but you. Doris, come on. That hair, everybody else is styling chic. You know, they are standing at the corner of chic and fashionable. We got to get you dressed, girl, because you're missing out. So every ad you used to write, we used to go into it thinking, how can I convince this audience or whoever reads this ad or sees it on television that they need it? Head and Shoulders, that was one of my first accounts. J.K. and I came up with the cut line. Never get a second chance to make a first impression. Remember that?
Yeah.
I wrote that at 3 o'clock in the morning in Chicago. You never get a second chance to make a first impression, so let's get those flakes out of your hair because you're missing out. Your husband might be right there in front of you and he's going to go, ooh, nasty hair, and walk right past. Time of lifetime. And that's what we had to do. We had to convince people that, you know, in fact, one of the greatest ads that started, I didn't come up with this, but they had, I carried on later, I was assigned to it, was, remember Schlitz beer? What are you going to do with Schlitz beer?
Throw it away.
You're going to go for the Gusto. Oh. Nobody even knew what Gusto was. Even the ad director says, what's Gusto? I says, who cares? Tell them they need Gusto. Go for the Gusto. If you don't got the Gusto, you're missing out. And advertising began to create new words that meant nothing other than the fact that Barb, come on, you call that Gusto? Let's get up there, girl. L'Oreal. Why should I buy that? Because you're worth it. And you don't have it now, and you're missing out. You see what I'm saying? That's how it works. You're missing out. Tom, what in the world has that got to do with ministry? Well, nothing. Just makes a bunch of great stories. No, it really does. Here we have, and this, like I said, this was a challenge scripture. Somebody asked me to preach on this, and I said I would. Fortunately, she's not here today, so I don't know why I bother. But nevertheless, that's the sermon for today. Jesus was coming to visit Martha and Mary. And both sisters living together in a little house there in the city of, or the little village of Bethany. And Jesus, the supposed Son of God, is coming to visit. And, Martha's running around the kitchen doing all this stuff, getting everything ready. Mary, on the other hand, is sitting there just probably staring into Jesus' eyes going, being amazed by the Son of God. And Martha comes out and says, Jesus, will you tell her to get up and help me in the kitchen? And Jesus says, oh, Martha, Mary doesn't want FOMO. She doesn't want to miss out. She's doing the right thing. There's many things in life to worry about. In fact, you worry about every one of them. When really there's only a few necessary things. In fact, there's only one priority. And Mary has chosen that priority. We're going to talk about that priority. Why would Jesus include this, or God include this, in the whole of the Scriptures, in the whole of the Gospels, of this little visit? Why would this be included in here? Well, we're going to talk about that today. First, I want you to stand up one final time.